At this point we have completed making a copy of our project, and we can continue our laboratory to start using Fluid utility. First thing to do here is to start the Fluid program, which is located under our labs, external Fluid. You can start this program. It has an interface that includes the main view and the widget bin, which provides access to various types of graphical user interface widgets. So the first step in using the Fluid is to click File, and New, and we just choose New, and it creates a shell for a new project in Fluid. So right now the project is empty, and the elements of the Fluid design will start appearing in this view, which will be a tree view. So we begin with a function, generating a function that will allow us to construct an empty window. As you can see, I rearranged my windows, which will allow me to make it easier to copy from one window to another. We begin by clicking New, Code, Function Method. This allows us to create a brand new function which will construct the window and display it for us. I'm not going to change anything else in here. Just click OK. Then we select the function that we just created in the main view. And to add an actual window to this function, we say New, Group, Window. You see that it generates the double window object under the name of our function. And here's the prototype of the window, which we can resize, and I'll place it somewhere here so that we're going to start designing it. I'll just resize it a little bit. As you're working on this exercise, make sure that you copy and paste the names of objects exactly as proposed in this lab. Otherwise, some of the code may be broken and will not properly compile. So to set the window name, you can double click the new window and it opens the properties. The name of the window can be specified in the C++ tab right here. So this is the name right here. This is the name of the window. This variable will represent the window name, and this variable is actually a pointer to FL window object, and this will be declared in the header file that Fluid will generate for us, and which we will be able to include in the rest of our application. So of course we can resize the window, but this is the crucial step, that we identify our window by its name. This is a C++ identifier. Optionally, Fluid can also generate a main function for our program, but because we already have a main function in the prototype that we have, we'll just basically use or reuse the existing function. Specifically, we can say View Solution Explorer and be able to display this current version of our code, which includes the main function. And I will now remove this other prototype of main to keep everything neat. And right here I can just copy and paste this implementation of the new window. As you can see, this function that we just configured inside Fluid Designer, now we'll be able to call it, and then it will create this window on our screen. This is my Solution Explorer right here. It will create this window on our screen. It will be first hidden, but then we can show it, and when we enter FL Run, the users will be able to interact with this window and click buttons, type into the text boxes, and so on. I'm saving my code and switching back to the handout. So we need to test what we have so far. So in order for us to do something like this, we need to create a subdirectory for Fluid itself. This configuration that Fluid maintains has to be saved. And what we're going to do is that we're going to create this Fluid project. I'm just pressing Ctrl+C to copy it. And this is my structure. And this is my Lab2 subfolder. And you see that I have a source subfolder where the main function resides. And right here, I will right-click and create new folder and give it this name, Fluid Project. Once we have it, we will carry it over to other projects as well. But first, let's create it. So now we have this location on our drive, which corresponds to the path displays over here. So once we have it in place, we can say File and Save in Fluid. I will copy this location now and say File and Save. And of course the Fluid is asking me where to save this, so I'll just copy and paste this path right here. And now I specified my location, and we're going to also name the Fluid project lab2 fluidwindow.fl. Now this is important because this name will also be used to derive other source code that the Fluid will create for us. So just copy this over to the Save To dialog box and use this name to tell the Fluid that you want to save this this type of file. Click Save. See that now we have the Fluid project subfolder generated by Fluid. There is a file named fluidfl. So if you copy and paste it inside Visual Studio, you'll see that it's actually just a text file that is using proprietary syntax of Fluid Designer. I will now close the properties window of this window. I can even close this window altogether if I want to, because once it's closed I can double click on this and it will just reopen it. And the next step here is to generate C++ source code for our program, which Fluid sort of exports out of its own environment. When we say File and write code, it tells us that it has written a couple of files for us. If you take a peek at what's happening now in this directory, now there are two new files. One is a CXX, which is a C++ source file, and also the header file. So the CXX file has to be added to our Visual Studio project. So we go to View, Solution Explorer, and go to Source Files and say Add Existing Item. Go under Fluid Project and simply select Fluid Generated CXX file. Do not include anything else, only this single file, CXX. So now we have both of these files. Now we should be able to actually go ahead and build this project. Oh, and what I need to do, of course, I need this include in my main file. So basically, we need to reference the header file in our main program, just to say that we need like it indicates over here that we need this. And at this stage I will actually delete these custom includes we had originally and replace them all with this new include. So this new include simply includes this header file that Fluid generated for us in our main file. So that would make window function available, which originally was not. So now I should be able to build this. And if I run it, you see that we're still creating console window, despite the fact that we're also creating a graphical window, but we can easily remove this console window, but it's very helpful to have around for debugging purposes. Anyways, it's running this window right now. So we just cloned this project, and we now have a Fluid project also that would allow us to configure the window and start playing with different widgets in it.